Hi, Jamie from Fitstrong Personal Training. Just in time for the rain to start and the pool pump to start, so please excuse the background noise. I'll try and keep this brief. One of the moves we do every single day. Every single person that comes in here does one move to help them with tight hips, with stabilising their shoulder, and also with practicing the ability to rotate through this part of the spine. We call that the thoracic spine, simply your upper body. A lot of people lose the ability to rotate, and then when they go to rotate under force or reaching into the back of their car, they can often tweak a muscle. So one move is very effective at working on those particular aspects, loosening up the hips, loosening up the mid part of the upper back, and getting that shoulder stable. So it's an exercise called the windmill. I'm going to demonstrate first of all with a wooden stick, a little bamboo staff. Place it behind my shoulders. Already requiring a little bit of flexibility across the front of the body, and who doesn't have tension in the front from desk-bound jobs, from driving? My birds are coming in, so excuse that. Place the bar behind the back on the fleshy bits behind the shoulders. I'm turning my feet out roughly 45 degrees. Now the hip movement is going to start the movement. I'm going to push the hips out, my back is staying flat, and as I hinge my hips out to that way, I'm looking towards my higher hand. And I'm putting back up again. At the very top, I just briefly squeeze my glutes and my abs. I might do 4 or 5 of those. And the objective is to keep this leg straight, push the hip out the side, stop when you feel a little bit of tension, and come back up. Keep those shoulders pulled back, and keep glancing at that upper hand. Now, don't compensate by letting your feet peel off the floor. Keep both feet firmly planted on the floor. And yes, this leg may bend a little bit. So, in doing that movement, we are working the mobility of that hip in a somewhat sideways position. The hamstring flexibility, we are turning slightly the upper back. Not too much is going on in the shoulders apart from pulling the shoulders back. Now, we can make this movement a bit more intensive by holding a kettlebell overhead. But before we load with a metal ball, let's be sure we can do it with a little bit of tension. And get rid of the stick. Replacing a stick with a very simple TheraBand. Now, I'm going to do the same side to avoid confusion. I'm going to place this under my heel of my planted leg. I'm going to press this hand overhead. You want to feel connected in this position, so I'm pulling my shoulder into the socket. I'm packing the shoulder. Keep my fist pointing up toward the ceiling. Do the same movement. I'm pushing my hips out, feeling a stretch in the hamstring. I'm looking up at my higher hand and returning to standing. Now I can push my hip into the band for an extra sensation of that stretch and where the direction should be going. And the whole time keeping an arm sucked into the socket. This hand can be reaching down this leg, or it can be behind the lower back if you want to continue to work on pulling your shoulders back. So it's a good idea to practice with a safe loading before we hold a kettlebell overhead to do the same thing. So again, stuck to my heel, you put it under the heel, keep the leg straight, arm packed, push the hip out until you feel a stretch somewhere around the backside and the hamstring. When you can do that safely, with no side bending, with no discomfort or pain, you're quite confident in that movement, both with the band and with the stick, then you're more than welcome to start with a kettlebell. If you can press a kettlebell safely, you've got a license to try this move on top of being able to do it with the stick and the band. So yet again, pressing the arm overhead, packing the shoulder in, much like you would do with a press, turning those feet out 45 degrees, commence the movement. Tighten those abs, drive the hip out to the side, keep the legs straight, stop when you get the first point of tension, return to standing. Integral part, yet again, let me repeat that, and turning the upper body to look at the kettlebell, pull back up, keep the arm straight. So, that is the windmill, used as a mobility, flexibility movement, and everyone who comes to the gym does that on a daily basis. Some then want to pursue the movement as a strength exercise. It's quite a nice feeling strength exercise to strengthen the trunk, to have some strength in some rotation of the thoracic spine, and also that shoulder area as well. We often use that prior to doing some turkish get-ups or doing some pressing movements. This is a nice movement to play with. Some get into it and really enjoy it, and others just use it as a tool to work on their mobility. I hope that was helpful. I hope the sound quality wasn't too disruptive. And any comments, comment again below. Thanks for watching.